the winners, Bristol Aztecs. Guys, congratulations on the way you did it. You both came, yep, for sure. That's what you predicted. And that's what you said you did. I'm glad that all you players are safe and no one's really injured as such. And we also got Mr. Nigel Hoyt here, Hall of Famer from BAFA. Congratulations to yourself and ex-London Monarchs player.
A long time ago.
I hear you.
Which guys are born.
But I mean, from where I was sitting, the thing that took me with regards to your team was and I was saying to your head coach Tony Jones as well, is your offensive personnel, your groups that you came in with and moved the ball successfully down the field. And I just don't think the Titans were ready for that. I mean, what's your view on that? What's your take on that?
Well, from when we played them last year, our offensive's completely changed. It's just they're probably just seeing it for the first time. I know they've watched film, but like seeing it on the field for the first time it's very hard to adapt to. And with the amount of motions we do, they can't really key on what we want to achieve as an offense.
For sure. I mean, you had yourself, you had Brooks going in and out at QB. Because at one point I was asking a question. I said, "Are you injured? Are you hurt? Why aren't you in?" But I then got it. Yeah. He was when he was playing QB, he was like the 6th eligible receiver downfield, and I just don't think that they planned for that. No. I mean, coming to yourself, I mean, you had an outstanding game. Did you go over 100 today?
I don't know. I don't count the stats.
Well, I saw you break one for 60, and prior to that, so I know you're pretty close.
They tell me at the end of the game, I just go out there and play hard these games. So
I hear you.
If I get 100, if I get 50, a win's a win. So
no doubt.
Hey,
we get the job done.
Team players, the team. Could you just talk us through that touchdown that you ran, the 60 yarder?
Pretty much we've been hammering down, like, make sure you get in front of your man, because if I get a crease, it's gonna go for a big one. So everybody did their job, executed well, and I was able to find the crease and off to the races. So it was a good little game plan going there.
As we saw.
Mm-hmm. No doubt, man. Listen, I watched that. I was watching. That's why I had to come and ask you about your defense. It's watching the secondary because that's me. Yeah. You seem the secondary, your linebackers. It was a great combination because they went to cover 0, cover 1, and for a coach, that's good that you had confidence in them to play that coverage, because playing those coverage, going man on man, is very risky. Yeah. Very risky, and to respect that, because that shut their game down. You can see that disrupted their quick stuff, because when you got a man right in front of you, you don't give him no space to do his little moves. And that's what they relied on, and it just changed the whole game for them. That's why their timing was all out the window. Then they try to run, later on in the game, me and Hutch were sitting there, we talking, why didn't I run like seam routes?
We couldn't get it.
It seemed like
we couldn't get it.
They couldn't even get that, and the one your middle linebacker picked him off.
I think I'll be honest. I do know that to a degree. I'm lucky that I've inherited a lot of talent. This year that maybe wasn't there last year, and Pete Meager on board, because we kind of like schemed for this game. So the past 10 games, okay, we'll get into this one. So we kind of put together a defense, and I was literally sitting there with bits of paper and a pen back in February drawing up stuff, and I thought, let's go to an odd front that we can shift into an even front. And then I think after the game against the Warriors, we started to come out of our Miami defense and went to more of a heads up, because we aren't blessed with big linemen, but we can move the athletics. So suddenly, big linemen, we've got to play against guys that are moving quickly. We can bounce it, we can move it across as well. So a lot of stuff that we did today worked. Some stuff we got away from. So one thing about I've learned this year is that if something isn't working, you get away from it and go to something else. But to be fair, we put a lot of work in the last 2 weeks. I've watched some film of the Titans. I can tell you what the parents are called.
I think
some film looks everything. So
the thing that we were talking about was we saw that when Titans came out with a spread offense, and you guys played no safeties at all, and you just played man up with no safeties in the middle of the park. Yeah. You were like, well, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's like I said.
But the thing about it is, it worked.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It worked.
But you got to know, because you couldn't suddenly kill it. If someone breaks one, they're gone.
That's exactly what I was saying.
But also, you play the odds. So to a degree, one of the things that I said to my OC was that, look, I'll give you 14 points. Can you give me 21? I gave him 12. So deal was done. So in offense, they showed up. And I can't. You know, they when we had to get drives into there, they drove the football for us, and it's a team game. So, you know, in the past, okay, we've had issues where we're not showing together, but today we showed up together. And with that also, okay, we've got another tough game coming up in 2 weeks' time. I'm under no illusions, okay. This one's in the bag. We've got to learn what we did well here. We'll then work across the run. We've got to change what we're doing a little bit for next team. 'Cause next team coming is going to be a power team. We know that.
Sure. I mean, that was one of my questions to your players earlier on in the pre-season interviews, was about, you know, what have you guys done in the lead up to this game? How have you prepared? What have you done different? Because this is a you win, you continue. You lose, you finish.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you're back into that situation again.
Yeah, we are. And I think it's down to a mentality. I like to think, okay, that one of the things that I brought with the team as well, and I think, generally the defence, okay, we've got mentality, okay, where we're not going to give up. I used the word relentless and used that to start the season. Okay, the guys that they gave the rule, you know, I mean, it's very tough when playing defence, okay, and sometimes, okay, you're thinking these guys physically outman you, but actually, we've got a lot of athletes out there who can play football. It comes down to, okay, just pure ownership and owning the stuff, you know, the stuff you know, the stuff you do with the lifting, the running, conditioning. There's all stuff you don't see.
Of course.
Like today, you know yourself, okay, how much stuff you've had to do, you know, how much stuff I've had to do. All right, it comes now down the game, okay, you can tell the guys who are in shape, the guys who know the playbook, because they show them and play, and the team as well. And I would say that the team we beat today, they're not as good as teams I thought it would be, but saying that, they are a good team and they are the current national champions, so technically we had a good win today, you know.
Well, we can't take nothing. Well, we can't take nothing away from you guys today.
You know, you guys can't. They were out moving you on the D line. You can't see that in there, because whenever they're trying to run the rock, you lot was shutting that shit down. Yeah. So, you know, you can't say, they, you know, we're a lot bigger than us. Nah, man, you look, that front line was moving. Yeah. And they moved, you know, moved well. Yeah. So you know, I'll take my hat off to you. You guys did well, bro.
For sure. Yeah, take your win, save your win. Get back to Monday, get back in your books, man, and let's get ready.
Wednesday practice.
There you go. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
See you, man.
Thank you. Take care, man.
Good job, bro.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Rob.
Thank you.
Exactly, yeah. Appreciate it.
Nice, thank you, man. Yeah, keep up the good work.
Yeah, we'll see you in the final.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're coming.
Bring it in, Pete. Bring it in, Pete. We'll just keep rolling, yeah? Oh, we good to just keep rolling?
Fellas.
Well, look at you, Pete.
Congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are in the final of the Brit Bowl for this year. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It feels very good. You know, the club's never been to the Brit Bowl before. I lost 4 semi-finals as a player, all to the Coventry Jets.
Oh, okay.
I think at least one of them at the hand of Rowelle Blenman. and obviously we lost 2 semis here. So we're coming here for a 3rd semi. I previously lost 4 semis as a player against Coventry, and I'm like, man, this feels like deja vu, you know, like going to the same, you know, and I feel like we've broken some kind of, I don't know, jinx or whatever. But you know, we've done it through sort of preparation and hard work, and I definitely feel like kind of what I was saying pre-game about us, like they've got really good coaches, and you can almost tie yourself up in knots trying to get into like a coaching battle. And you know, we kind of tried to kind of keep it relatively simple. You know, on offense, we're trying to, you know, just play around with our personnel groupings and create some extra gaps here and there. You know, run the ball, throw the stuff that's on, not try and do anything kind of too funky or get too obsessed with what they're doing every play. Just try and give them some questions to answer. And take some confidence that we've got some good players that can make some plays, and they're not going to have solutions for every question we ask them, you know.
It's not easy to travel, I don't know, 3, 4 hours to come up here, you know, play away, you know, against the fans, and put the scores up. You did. You beat the national champions by 3 scores. What did you do different? What did you see that was different today?
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's an element, right, of you get kind of battle hardened, and you know, every year we travel to the London Warriors and the London Blitz, and they've been good teams for years, and every year we've travelled, you know, further than this. Geographically it's not further, but in terms of time, you know, battling through the London traffic and the M25. So twice a year we're making these kind of 3.5, 4 hour treks to play really, really good teams. You know, we beat the Blitz once away from home. We've never beat the Warriors away from home. So you know, we are well versed in travelling away to difficult games, the 2 semi-finals here, And we're kind of, you know, we're learning to deal with it and cope with it. You know, we beat the Blitz away for a second time a few weeks ago. So, you know, I feel like, players and coaches come and go, but there's kind of like a character within a team, and there's almost like that knowledge that stays within the team, even though it changes every year. And teams have identities, even though they change. And I feel like, you know, we've been getting better for 20 years now, and we've never got all the way to the Brit Bowl. And there's some ups and downs, but if you drew a kind of trend line through it all, we have been gradually getting better. And you know, we've had players that have left and come back and coached. And you know, Nigel was coaching the D-line when I was playing. You know, and when I got the head coach job a couple of years ago, rang him up pretty quickly and was like, "Do you want to come back and coach?" And he was like, "Oh, maybe not." But then a year later, he rang me up and was like, "Yeah, maybe up for it now." You know, and so we've built a good football ecosystem in the Southwest, and there are people that kind of want to come and play. You know.
So I think with regards to Bristol Aztecs, the thing that sticks out to me is continuity, and continuity within the years to build a team, a successful team, and then to be successful, you need continuity within the team, as in keeping players, keeping the coaches. How do you plan on trying to do that bit?
Yeah, and for me, it's not necessarily the same people or coaches, but I think you need certain types of people. And you know, you could probably tell me about a Scottish Claymores team you played on, and you'll be like, well, there was this guy who always was the big bully on the O-line, and everyone used to kind of coalesce around him and get after the. Every team's got one of those guys, and I feel like if you haven't got one of those guys, you need to kind of find one of those guys. And teams have these kind of guys, and you know, we've got a few sort of veteran leaders that we've kind of cultivated over the last few years. You know, we got a wide receiver who punts and kicks for us, kicked a drop goal today. He played for us in 2014, went off to Europe, played in Finland, played in Germany, and I've kind of worked hard to get him back, and he's come back home to the area now, and we've got him along, and you know, he's not a kind of superstar wide receiver like he was, but he makes all the wide receivers around him better, and he's a leader on the team, and you just need, you know, to have some people around who've played in big games, who've played good football, and today, even when, you know, there were times our backs were up against it, he was like, this is great, this is what I want football like this every week, and you need people who want to play in games like this, who like it when it's tough, and you know, you've got to have that right balance, and you want some, you know, some younger guys who are maybe a little bit afraid, and all these different kind of things that make up a team, but you need certain characters to help try and kind of build the kind of team environment right, and that's what I've tried to do, and so I've tried to create a continuity of certain types of people, and this person might come and go, but if you know you're lacking that kind of leadership, then is there anyone else around who you get to do it, or someone else on the team you could try and cultivate to make that kind of the breadth of the leadership group you need, and that's in the staff as well as the players, you know, and I think that's important.
You know, like I was saying to Nigel, that you played a great defense. Your defense was off the chain, but like Hutch was saying earlier, that change on that offense is what changed the whole game. You know, those three players, not just the three players, but having that, being able to let me take that group out and put this one in, being able to do that throughout the game is what threw them off balance quickly. You know. It was a defense little batter in the beginning of the game, and then it just quickly changed when you brought that Wildcat offense in. It was like, okay, what do we do here now?
Yeah, and for me, right, like, we're all shaped by our experiences as players, right? I was an offensive lineman, you know, stunts, twists, all that kind of stuff. You're like, okay, you just want to block the guy in front of me. Do you know what I mean? And if you can give people lots to think about. You know, whether it's eye candy or whether it's actual stuff you do it, like, you know, and I think with our personnel groupings, and also, you know, KK, you know, playing a little bit of receiver, a little bit of running back, a little bit of QB, gives them lots to think about. They're always looking for him, and he's not just going to be a QB or running back. Like 1 minute he's at Z, and then he's in at the slot, and you're moving around, giving him lots to think about. And obviously we've got other. You know, Terrell says he don't keep an eye on the numbers. You know, he's had a 1,000
Come
yard.
on now.
You know what it's
keeping an eye on the numbers now.
He's had a 1,000-yard rushing season, right? And you know,
He mentioned that.
He mentioned that.
You don't keep an eye on the numbers. And you know, we've been giving him sort of 10 carries a game, and he's been getting 100 yards a game, and we've not had to lean on him too heavily. But we've got lots of other bits that kind of, you know, like, he's generally the guy that does most of the damage, but we don't need to like thrash him. Even today, you know, it wasn't like carry.
And it's funny you should say that, because I was asking that question. You know, at one point you had number 21 in, His name's not Eddie, is it?
No, that's Lewis Munn.
It's Lewis Munn. Right,
Yeah.
we didn't know who that guy was, but again, another successful running back who was moving the chains. And I said, well, what's wrong with TJ? TJ injured? And the answer to that question was no.
No, and I mean we've had, I think, TJ's. I may be speaking out of turn. I don't think he's ever kind of played an offense where he's had 25, 30 carries.
Right.
And so, we've kind of assessed that the way we get the best out of TJ is to keep him fresh for all 4 quarters. And if we give him 25 carries, he's probably going to be gassed by the 4th quarter.
Got it.
And he's the kind of guy you want to close out a game. And he was still getting some carries later in the game.
Yeah.
Lewis Munt is a guy who's on the sort of the broader GB squad. I don't think he's made the squad for the next game. But he's good, he's young, he's just coming off a little bit of an injury, so he was a little bit sore today, but he was good enough to give us a couple of carries, a few good first down carries. Emmanuel Bauer had some good carries today and picked up some good yards. He played New York Lions, so he's played a little bit in the GFL. So, and we got to use those guys. And, we were absolutely focused on winning this game and getting out of here today. But if you do that at the expense of your starting QB and your best running back, and then it's like, I'm not going to go in 2 weeks. We played lots of guys today. We got some depth on. We were rotating a few spots. We had 5 DBs that were all playing. And there's potential that unsettles things a little bit. But, we had one eye on trying to keep the squad fresh. And, if we lose this game, we got some fresh guys that aren't playing in the next couple of weeks. But we didn't want to win this game and be spent. And we've still got some left in the tank. And, we've got 3 practices now. And, and we see the London Warriors.
Not only that, you can rely on them if you give them the time and they don't mess up when they play and they do the assignment that you ask them to do. So okay, if he's blowing, I know I can put him in there and he'll get the job done.
For sure, and I think players are changing, people are changing. I kind of played like a few years later than you guys, but. We would always play injured. I'm sure you guys were always playing injured. I've seen you playing injured, and it's a little bit different now. Players aren't as inclined to do that, and I think that's a sign of the times. Things are changing. I think the kind of running back that you put a load on, like the Titans used to put on Eddie George, for example. Like even in the NFL, it's not really kind of a thing anymore.
It doesn't happen anymore. We were talking about the same thing come driving up here. Right? You don't have that featured back. One touching the ball 25, 30 times anymore. You've got 2 or 3 that rotate.
Exactly, and your featured back is getting 10 carries a game, 1,000 yards a season, rather than 25 carries a game and 2,000 yards a season. But he's fresh, and he's not going to be in bits when he's 30. You know what I mean?
Pete, we could talk to you about this all day, man. But the thing about it is that we've got to say congratulations.
Thanks, fellas.
You're in the Brick Bowl, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks.
Nice one.
We'll see you in 2 weeks for sure.
Got some snaps in you, the pair of you? Got some snaps in you, maybe?
I
reckon you could.
When I first came here, man, after talking to one or two of the players, I said to them,